Hi, this is John with Beyond 20. Today we're going to be looking at the System Analyzer in Cherwell. So the System Analyzer is something that is going to let you look a little more deeply at what Cherwell is doing behind the scenes, under the hood, really kind of all the background information that is being processed by the system that is interest probably more towards admins and power users than any other normal user. So typically when I say that it's of interest to admins and power users, your average user probably will not have access to the System Analyzer. For admins and anyone who needs access to it though, the way that you access the System Analyzer is in the desktop client. You will go up here to Help and then System Analyzer. So now that it's running, you can see there's not really a whole lot in here. Let's go ahead and open up a record though. So on this record, you'll see a bunch of different fields here with a lot of different values. And one of the key things that the System Analyzer provides is a way to look at the specific values in every field that exists within this record. So the way that you do this is you open up the System Analyzer when you've got a record open like this, and you click on Show the Values of the Fields in the Current Business Object. And from here you can see every field. Some of these fields are grouped together in a folder. And by default, you'll see that there's this little visibility icon up here, and this controls whether empty fields should be hidden from the tree. You select this, you'll have all fields available to you so that you can see fields that have no value as well. Another thing that you'll notice is these relationships. So this record is currently linked to other records through relationships. Some of those relationships load immediately, some of them don't. And here you can see kind of the same view for those linked records. So a record in another table somewhere that's been linked to this record, you can see every single field value on that record without actually having to be on that record. Now, as I mentioned, not all relationships load immediately. The way that you get the rest of the relationships to load is to click on this icon up here next to the folder icon. And now you'll see that you've got more relationships here that you can look at with more records. And before I mentioned how these records are kept within these folders, if you want to remove the folder view, simply click the folder icon. And then all of the fields are basically removed from their folders and then are sorted alphabetically here. Except for this one folder here at the bottom for automatic. I'm not sure why that's not included. If, say, for example, you need to search for a specific field, you can type in the search up here. Anything that's got the word status in it. There you go. Now, one thing to note here, if, say, for example, you've got multiple records in a relationship that's linked to this record, what we'll show here is the record that has been selected. Same thing goes with, say, for example, if you've got a bunch of records in a grid view, and you're looking at, say, a particular record from that view, and you want to get data for that record. So, for example, we've got the installed software tab selected, and we've got Adobe Reader selected here. If we go back into the System Analyzer and we look at the current object values, if we go to Computer Owns Installed Software, we can see that this matches up with Adobe Reader, this product. But if we select PeopleSoft, and we go back to the analyzer, we check the same relationship, now all of a sudden the product is PeopleSoft. And say, if you're looking at a search result, you've got your system analyzer pulled up, if you click Show the Values for this current object, it will give you the resulting value for whichever record you have selected. See, now I've got the Todd laptop selected. Now, one thing to note about the system analyzer is it does display a lot of information. A lot of times, a lot of this information isn't necessarily going to be helpful. It can really stack up and then back up very quickly, and then your valuable information can get pushed out. So, an easy way to prevent this from happening is to regularly clear the displayed messages. Another thing you can do, I wouldn't necessarily suggest this, but you can specify which messages should be displayed. Typically, I wouldn't recommend changing any of these settings unless you really know your way around the system analyzer, but you can change them here if you do wish. Another thing you can do is you can set options for the analyzer, and you can add network latency if you want to simulate something like that for your users. Another thing you can do is set a breakpoint for the system analyzer so that it will stop at a specific message when it reaches that point, when it's doing something like, say, running a one-step. So in here we've got category one-step, and really you could have any one of these selected. And we'll just leave the look for blank for right now. If, say, for example, you do want to stop any new messages from coming in, say if I make a change here on the workstation, I save that, you'll see that a bunch of different values came in here and things happened in the background as I did that. But now that I'm looking at this information, you'll get some more information that keeps coming in kind of slowly at the bottom here, just kind of automatically. If you want to stop that from happening, the way you do that is you click Stop Display Messages. That way nothing new comes in. And if, say, for example, if you want to change this back, you can do that, and nothing here has changed. If, say, for example, you want to export this information to a CSV file, you click here on the export icon. And then select Browse, and you'll want to give your CSV a name. And then once you've done that, you can see the file here. It's got all of your different bits of information from the service catalog. And then if you want to export this information to a CSV file, and then if you want to export this information to a file, you would click this export icon, click Browse, and then give your file a name. And then click OK. So another thing I want to cover with the system analyzer is the breakpoint message. So I'm going to clear out these values here, and I'm going to click this stop button. I'm going to add a breakpoint. For the category, I'm select one step. For the category, I'm going to select one step. Then I click OK. I'll click OK again here. So now, when I'm in the record, if I click I'll link to a one step, I get a flashing message here that something has happened in the system analyzer, and then it's preparing to execute a one step. And if I select run until the next breakpoint, the next breakpoint comes immediately after, because the next one is also a one step. Then if I remove the breakpoint and click OK, and then I select run until the next breakpoint, it'll just complete. You can kind of see here the system analyzer is running in the background. So it went through and it did a lot of items there, did a lot of processing there in the background. But that way, say for example, if you're looking for a specific category, or if you're looking for some bit of information here in the system analyzer, and you come across it only for just a moment, and you want to stop at that point, that will allow you to stop the system analyzer from processing until you had a chance to review that bit of information. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and browse our other videos, and feel free to check out our website at beyond20.com. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.